All right, coming up next is game 2 of our triple header, the Celtics against the Pistons. Boston's Paul Pierce is coming off his great performance in game 5 against the Sixers, and he spoke with our Lewis Johnson.
All right, Ahmad, we're outside the Celtics locker room with Paul Pierce, who's getting ready for this game 1 of the second series. Have to ask you, go back to the 46 points you dropped in game 5 versus Philly. Can you get back in that zone here in this type of atmosphere here in Detroit?
Well, it's going to be tough, and I think as a player, you try to go out and play like that every night. But then, you just got to realize sometimes the ball doesn't bounce that way. But as an offensive player, I try to go out and be aggressive as I can each and every night. Sometimes the ball goes and sometimes it doesn't.
I watched you during shoot-around a few moments ago, and you sort of stayed behind that three-point arc. We don't expect any sort of changes in the Celtics' offensive attack, do we?
Oh, definitely not. If the three-point shots are there, we're going to take them. If not, we're going to swing it around, drive the ball. But, if any guy is open from the three, coach is encouraged for us to take it.
Detroit had one of the strongest benches in the league during the regular season. Now your bench will have to step up. A former six-man Rodney Rogers and Corliss Williamson over there. What do the benches have to do in this series?
They're going to have to play great. We both have great benches. And Rodney Rogers, they obviously have Corliss Williams. And I think both of our teams can go deep in our bench. And I think the team that bench outscores the other team's bench is going to have the best chances of winning.
All right, good luck today. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Tip-off is not far away, Ahmad.
All right, thank you very much, Lewis. The big question in this whole series is, can the Pistons handle the truth?
I don't know. What is the truth? Who are you,
Paul
Jack
Pierce.
Nicholson?
Paul Pierce. I've been working on that for 3 days.
Are we clear?
Okay. We can take this on, can we?
I think when you look at this series, it's going to come down to a lot behind the arc. The last game in Game 5 against Philadelphia, they knocked in 19 three-pointers. They knock in 19 three-pointers, they're going to beat just about anybody. But remember, they won the 3 games at home. They lost the 2 games on the road. Sometimes those threes don't go down quite as easily on the road as they do at home. Now, Paul Pierce has done a real good job mixing up his threes and getting to the hole. You'd like to see Antoine Walker do the same. You don't want to see him take 20 shots and have 13 of them be from the three-point line. I think if they're going to win this, I think Antoine Walker needs to do a better job of maybe mixing in the threes and getting to the hole and creating fouls, because he can do that.
So, I just want to tell you, it was a very good picking the Nets earlier.
Thank you.
Coming up next, it's Jerry Stackhouse and the Detroit Pistons against Antoine Walker and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And we'll send you out to Detroit for the tip-off right after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
If you only had moments left, where would you go? Who would you spend the time with? And what would you say? For over 7 years, we watched his journey. Now, a final farewell to Dr. Green, an ER to cherish, NBC Thursday.
Your after presenting a choice of entrees, oh finicky queen.
Excellent.
Ray Double Control Ant Baits. The bait with 2 different foods that ants eat. Both are carried back to the queen,
Smells good.
where it wipes out the queen and entire colony.
Ray!
Ray Double Control Ant Baits kills the queen and colony dead.
Me and my dog will like to call Mac. I know I'm a pal of the facts. I tell him when to eat and when to speak. Me and my dog.
Nothing ever comes between them, thanks to Interceptor. Interceptor is the #1 heartworm tablet that protects your dog from worms that could spread to your kids. Dogs must be tested for heartworm prior to use. Digestive and neurological side effects may occur.
Me and my dog.
Interceptor, for dogs with kids.
These people want something from you. They want to prove that nobody knows how to service your Ford, car, or truck like they can. Quality Care Auto Service. Everything your vehicle needs and great deals. Like meeting or beating any competitor's price on name brand tires. These people want your business. Let them prove it to you. Quality Care Auto Service. At your New England Ford dealers.
There's always something extra. Weeknights at 7:30 on 7 NBC.
Welcome to the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan, where today, 2 teams last season, they didn't even make the playoffs. This season, they both have hopes of getting to the NBA Finals. Paul Pierce has been magnificent so far in the postseason. Jerry Stackhouse, less than stellar, but his team's advanced. Both players have help. Antoine Walker for the Celtics with many big shots against Philadelphia. And Ben Wallace dominant at times against the Toronto Raptors. And that's why we get set for game one of this Eastern Conference semifinal. Hi again, everyone. Along with PJ Carlissimo, Mike Breen on hand. Lewis Johnson will join us shortly. For Boston, of course, so many memorable playoff moments that they've had over the years. We'll add one more. Friday night at the Fleet Center in Boston, Paul Pierce was brilliant. 46 points in the deciding game. In a very short time, Paul Pierce has become one of the stars in this league.
Absolutely, Michael. 4th year in the league, his first time as an NBA All-Star this season. Paul Pierce was never better than he was on Friday night. 46 points. He shoots the three well, 40% in the regular season. About 8 for 10 Friday night in a deciding game. Throw in 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 17 fourth-quarter points. That's stepping up when it really matters. Paul Pierce was magnificent, adding to the Celtic lore. And let's not forget Antoine Walker, his very capable partner, played extremely well in the series.
Pistons also had to go 5 games to advance, but their star had a little different scenario in his game 5. Jerry Stackhouse had a nightmare game, but his teammates picked up the slack. They were still able to advance and defeat the Toronto Raptors. Now, if they have any hopes of beating Boston, Stackhouse, who's been their leader all season long, he really has to play much better. But what specifically does he have to do?
Well, I just think he's got to relax. You're talking about picking up the slack for Stack. They did it, but they can't continue to do it, particularly against the Celtics. Jerry Stackhouse is playing unselfishly this year. He's involving his teammates. Career high in assists, career high free throw percentage. He's so good at putting the ball on the basket and taking it to the rim. He scored 23 points a game against the Celtics this year, so I do expect him to score a lot more. But you see, in the first 2 games, Mike, he got 51 points, 2 wins here in Detroit, 31 in the last 3. Stack clearly has to pick it up for Detroit to be successful.
Pistons winning 50 games during the regular season, Boston 49. And right now, let's get our starting lineups and turn it to public address announcer John Mason.
Let's meet some of the world's greatest athletes. But first, how about a palace welcome for the visiting Boston Celtics? The forward number 8 from Kentucky, 6'9", Antoine Walker. Also at forward, number 55 from Providence, 6'8", Eric Williams. At center, number 4 from Texas Tech, 6'10", Tony Petit. Boston Gods, number 7 from Georgia Tech, 6'1", Kenny Anderson. And number 34 from Kansas, 6'6", Paul Pierce. And the head coach of the Boston Celtics, Jim O'Brien.
I can't understand.
Hey, Jerry, you forgot your lunch. Have fun at work today.
Don't worry, I will.
Central Division champions.
Stand on your feet, it's time to meet and greet the Ballers representing the Detroit Pistons.
His number is 12. He came to us from Georgia Southern, 6'5" forward in the Piston home white, Michael Kareem.
Now for number 3 from Virginia Union University, the 6'9" forward, Wallace.
The center, number 30 from Connecticut, at 6'10". Once again, say hello to Mr. Robinson, Clifford Robinson.
Now for the Gods from South Florida, at 5'11", number 7, Chucky Atkins. And the captain from North Carolina, 6'6", number 42, Jerry Stackhouse. and the Detroit Pistons head coach, Rick Carlisle. Detroit, let's play some basketball.
I think Mr. Mason's pretty fired up. The PA for the Pistons. The victory over Toronto, their first playoff series win in 11 years. They had lost 5 first-round series prior to that. Celtics, it was their first playoff series win in 10 years. And this is a team that had missed the playoffs the previous 6. So 2 teams that had some great playoff battles back in the 80s are back in the postseason again. And with more for today, let's go to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, out of the Detroit locker room about a half an hour ago, there was some breaking news that was really bad news for the Pistons. Yesterday in a physical practice, backup center Željko Rebraca suffered a broken right hand, apparently in a scuffle for a basketball. Somehow his right hand came up broken. Now, I talked to Rebraca before the game, and he said he's not quite sure what the doctors are going to do, but he may have surgery tomorrow. He talked about this being his rookie year and having a chance to help the Pistons get to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe even a final, and so he was hugely disappointed. We talked to Rick Carlisle back in the hallway, and the disappointment on his face was obvious. So a bad break, literally and figuratively speaking, for the Detroit Pistons. Mike?
And Lewis, even though Rebraca did not have a great series against Toronto during the regular season, he was a very important part of the team's success, and especially against a Boston Celtics team, they could certainly use him. But we've seen these teams have other guys pick up the slack during the course of the year.
Željko Rebraca would have played more in this series. Rick Carlisle took his minutes down in the first series. He didn't like the matchups. Very bad break. It just means Michael Curry will be on the floor more, and they like him on the floor for defensive reasons anyhow.
Ben Wallace, who has had just a sensational season, opened things up by winning the tip, and the Pistons control to start us off. Chucky Atkins, the starting point guard. Him and Anderson will be a big part of who wins this series. Cliff Robinson gets inside. Michael Curry. Curry's first shot won't go, and Walker the rebound.
Curry doesn't shoot often. He's a decent shooter, but that's not what he's on the floor to do.
How about, again, both teams in emotional 5-game series? What kind of an effect did it have when you start a game 1 in the next series?
Well, you would think if anyone has the advantage, it's Detroit. They won here at home. They've been here resting. Detroit, Boston celebrated, I'm sure, Friday night and had to make the trip in yesterday. But I think in a 7-game series, little impact.
Second shot opportunities early for the Boston Celtics. Walker struggling a bit with his dribble. Williams to Tony Battie. Goes up against the leading shot blocker in the NBA, who didn't block that one, but he altered it.
Boston won't go inside that much. They live and die by the 3-point shot. Detroit also takes a lot of threes.
And Jerry Stackhouse, who had just 1 field goal in the Game 5 victory against Toronto, albeit a very important one, knocks down his first shot here today.
He did, Mike. That was a huge bucket he hit late in the 4th quarter, putting the Pistons ahead for good.
And a foul call on Stackhouse, denying as Eric Williams ran across the lane. For both these teams, for them to return not only to the playoffs, but to prominence in the Eastern Conference, the defense has been the key in their turnaround.
Surprisingly so in Boston's case. Everybody pictures Antoine and Paul shooting the threes. They don't realize how much improved this team is on the defensive end, as Eric Williams, who also had an excellent series, steps up right away for Boston.
Williams in the Philly series averaged 10 points a game and shot 64% from the field. As a foul will go against the Boston Celtics. Stackhouse trying to cut through. Antoine Walker picking up the first.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of those type of fouls. This is a veteran crew, and normally the recipe in the playoffs is let them play.
Joe Crawford, Joe Forte, and Jimmy Clark all on hand. 55 years combined NBA officiating experience. Stackhouse, that's a 3. Little better start than in Game 5.
Stack's done more than he did in the final 3 games of that series already.
Stackhouse overall in that series shot just 30% from the field. Did some other things, led the team in assists 3 of the 5 games, but they need him to score. Williams gets inside. Tough move from Eric Williams.
They also need him to defend better than that, Michael. He's just standing there, and Eric Williams goes right around him.
Williams can be a tough matchup for certain teams. Certainly was for Philly. Ball deflected, goes right somehow to Cliff Robinson. Robinson left wide open. And Williams the rebound. Boston leading all NBA playoff teams in shooting. They shot a terrific 47% from the field against a good defensive team in the 76ers. Walker. Of course, they lost both their road games in that series. Both games were close. They both could have won. Down the stretch, didn't perhaps execute properly at crunch time, but overall for their first road playoff games, and for many of the players it was, PJ, not a bad performance.
No question. You got both teams, a lot of similarities right there. Both teams have won all their home games and lost away from home. You need to win on the road to be successful in the playoffs, normally.
Pierce inside, nice reverse move, gets by Wallace, and Paul Pierce with his first bucket.
Paul Pierce is so difficult to defend because of the ability to shoot the three, but yet put it on the floor or get to the free throw line. He's one of the tops in the NBA, working himself to the line.
Curry, Pierce guarding him, strip for the foul. Let's see if they call it on the way up.
Antoine Walker wide open. That's a good look. He started that possession by putting it on the floor. Paul Pierce puts it on the floor as well as anybody, especially when you have to respect that perimeter shot. So you have to get in tight and really pressure him. That just opens up the lane to the basket.
So the foul on Pierce is first, and here's Michael Curry, the veteran who they call an impact player. Despite averaging just 4 points a game, he is the ultimate intangibles player for this Detroit Pistons team.
Michael Curry does all the little things, and he does a lot of things not even on the floor. He's a force in the locker room. He keeps his teammates focused, and he sets a great example. One of the reasons he's the president of the NBA Players Association.
And here's a number for him in the first round. He played 79 minutes, didn't have a single turnover. As the 1 point lead for Boston here in the early going. Pierce blocked by Wallace. 3-on-1 for the Pistons. Stackhouse.
The defense generates the offense. You saw a switch out by Ben Wallace. Great pressure blocking Paul Pierce's shot. Leads to an easy shot on the opposite end.
Led the NBA in rebounds, led the NBA in block shots. Only 4 players in the history of the game have done that. Of course, they started the shot blocking statistic later on, but still, he was in pretty good company as Walker way off the mark. Ball goes out of bounds. They say last touch by the Pistons.
Ben Wallace just comes out and challenges. You would think Paul would anticipate that. Detroit just takes it coast to coast. Jerry Stackhouse off to a great start, and Rick Carlisle's got to be delighted with that.
By the way, the other 3 who also led in rebounds and blocks as Kenny Anderson gets inside. Ball knocked loose. Wallace has it. It was Jabbar, Bill Walton, and Akeem Olajuwon. Not bad company. Atkins knocks it down.
Pretty good trio, and you got to think number 6 for Boston, had they been keeping the stats back then, might have also accomplished the same feat.
Absolutely. Atkins, by the way, led the team in scoring in 2 of the 5 games against Toronto. One of those who picked up the slack. Nice feed inside. Cliff Robinson, though, alters that shot.
Antoine Walker's more comfortable at the three-point line than in the paint, Michael.
Stackhouse with Eric Williams on him. Knocked out of bounds. Still Pistons ball with 13 on the shot clock.
Chucky Atkins is one of a trio of Detroit starters, undrafted in the NBA, but he has made himself into a very effective starter on an excellent team.
It's really unheard of to have 3 players on a second-round team.
Well, 2 of them came from Orlando, so some of the credit goes there. They came over in the Grant Hill trade.
Joe Dumars getting a lot for Grant Hill in what looked like it was going to be a bad situation for Detroit as Cliff Robinson misfires.
Orlando hated to give up Chucky Atkins and Ben Wallace.
Walker for 3. And Wallace with his 4th rebound. Last time that he played against the Celtics here at the Palace, as Atkins misfires, Wallace had 28 rebounds. That was his career and the NBA season high.
Mike, that was the deciding game that caused Detroit to go 2-2 in the season series with Boston. Had that game flipped, we'd have been starting in Boston this afternoon.
Eric Williams. Walker, another 3. Not hesitant at all. But see the rebound. Nice feed to Williams. Trying to fake. Walker right there.
Boston doing a good job on the boards early. These are 2 of the poorer rebounding teams in the league, which actually makes for a good matchup against each other.
Rick Carlisle wants a timeout. A Full timeout call by the Pistons just past the midway point, opening quarter of game 1. Detroit with a 1-point lead. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by the Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's impossible to sneak around in. Are you in? By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold, down, easy. By Adidas Climacool, giving you 360 degrees of ventilation. Feel the breeze. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in the NBA. Is it in you? Jerry Stackhouse off to a terrific start. Just the opposite of game 5, but Stackhouse, of course, has changed his game this season, and the result of a 50-win season for Detroit. He's averaging almost 7 shots less per game, finding his teammates a more unselfish player. He led the team in assists in addition to scoring, and it has really made a huge difference here in Detroit.
As we talked about, Mike, career high free throw percentage, career high in assists, and a lot of those assists were to Clifford Robinson, who has brought his versatility on both ends of the floor to this team.
Robinson's first bucket. Michael Curry really battling Antoine Walker, knocks it out of bounds.
The great players, you have to defend them before they get the ball. Once a great player has the ball, there's little you can do.
Kenny Anderson had a strong series in helping get past Philadelphia. Picked up on a switch by Robinson. Atkins is guarding Antoine Walker. One on the shot clock. Pierce has to throw it up. Ball tipped by Battie. Nice effort from Battie, but it's still going to be Pistons ball.
Michael, calling that switch is really important. Detroit switches an awful lot of pick and rolls and dribble handoffs. They'll also switch the pin downs when they're trying to bring Paul Pierce out, because their lineup is versatile. They're not scared to put Ben Wallace or Clifford Robinson on a smaller player.
See that 0 for 4 for Boston from three-point range. That will not discourage them from continually shooting. Pierce got a piece of it, and Walker then knocks it away. Pierce and Walker, perfect fast break, and an easy 2 for Antoine Walker.
Both these teams already show the defense. A steal for the Celtics. They were the best in the NBA at that. A block shot earlier for the Pistons creates fast break opportunities.
Atkins. And an offensive foul call. Ben Wallace with a hard screen down low on Eric Williams. And Wallace picks up his first.
That's another turnover, Mike. And one thing Detroit cannot afford is turnovers, lost opportunities against the Boston Celtics. Ben Wallace not quite with his foot set, just turned his shoulder a little bit. When you set a screen in this league, you've got to stay perfectly still. Get any kind of extra movement there, it's an easy call for the official.
That's the third turnover for the Pistons. Celtics still have yet to turn one over. Rodney Rogers has come into the game now for Boston. As they go to Pierce. Pierce against Curry. As good a defender as Michael Curry can be, Pierce gets it down low. There's not a guy one-on-one who's going to stop him.
Both of these teams do not like to double team, but if Paul Pierce has a lot of success down under, Detroit is ready to come at some point in the game with the double team.
4 points for Pierce. Stackhouse gets inside, blows right past McCarty, and a help defense late getting there.
Well, the reason that Paul Pierce and Jerry Stackhouse shoot so many free throws is they're so good putting the ball on the floor.
I think Jerry Stackhouse has put his nightmare game behind him. He is 4 for 5 from the field. He even said that. He goes, I got my bad one out of the way.
He got a couple of his bad ones out of the way.
All right, this really, really bad one.
Pierce, a couple of fakes, one on the shot clock. Curry doesn't buy it, and they say no. He did not get it off in time. 24-second violation. Excellent defense from Curry.
Jerry Stackhouse on the opposite end. You see Walter McCarty. You have to play Stackhouse tight to respect his shot. Boston with no shot blocking presence inside. You get to the rim on the Celtics, you'll finish.
Atkins gets inside. Stackhouse again, hard to the glass, tried to draw a foul. Rogers kept his hand straight up. There was contact, but it didn't appear it was a foul. Walker now against Curry. Rushed it, Curry the rebound. His outlet deflected by Rogers' head, but Detroit still with the ball.
1-on-5.
Rogers, quick outlet. Here comes Antoine Walker.
That's not a shot Rick Carlisle could be happy with.
Little hesitation move, Wallace with his third block goes to Pierce, though. Tony Delk for three. And Delk with his first points of the playoffs. He did not play often in the Philadelphia series, was scoreless, only took 2 shots, and finally gets on the board.
What Jimmy O'Brien talked about was Tony Delk's defense. He thought he did a pretty good job guarding Allen Iverson.
Especially in game 5 as Curry knocks that one down. All tied up, just under 2.5 to play in the first. Detroit shooting 50%, Boston 38%.
Well, Boston's staying in because they're working the offensive boards, and Detroit's turning it over.
Curry, Wallace looking to help. Pierce gets by him. Shot blocked by Stackhouse. Pierce gets it back again. The strength of Paul Pierce.
Inside again. If it's a block shot, it's still an attempt, and they come up with the rebound. Boston uncharacteristically scoring points in the paint. That's at least 10 points in the paint for the Celtics.
So a timeout call by the Pistons. Just under 2 minutes left here in the first quarter.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cause you heard the design that I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying, never come back and see me. Yesterday, you've forgiven me, but it'll still be today till I say I'm sorry. It's the finest of the flavors. And to see the showcase and you know the burger goes and my door is the banger as you like to sign a waiver. I have a tendency to wear my mind up asleep. I had it's been 1 week since you looked at me. Dropped your ass to the side and said I'm sorry.
It happens in the blink of an eye. That defining moment in every game. When that moment comes, will you have ice in your veins?
It's here. It's clear. New Gatorade Ice.
You pump. Yes. You pump. You pump. Aloha.
It takes two, baby. It takes two, baby. Me and you. It just takes two.
NBC Monday, an all-new Crossing Jordan. It seemed like a simple case.
Does this mean anything to you?
But the clues are leading someplace personal.
Tell me what comes next.
Tell me.
This is the case Jordan's waited for her whole life. I know who killed your mother. All-new Crossing Jordan, NBC Monday.
Boston Celtics are a pretty good road team during the regular season, 22-19. And have a 2-point lead right now as Joe Crawford chatting with Antoine Walker.
One of the reasons Boston 4 points in the paint. They've got 5 offensive rebounds already. Detroit's still looking for their first rebound. That is very uncharacteristic of the Celtics to be that successful underneath the basket.
Neither team considers rebounding a strength. Even though Detroit has the best rebounder in the game individually as a team, it's not an area that Rick Carlisle is certainly pleased with during the regular season.
They're last in the league in rebounding, and they have the best rebounder.
Curry, 2 on the shot clock, and Michael Curry puts it in.
Already there's been a number of long possessions, Mike. Both of these teams, you talked about it early, underrated defensive teams.
Robinson on Walker. Rodney Rogers just powers in, but misses the shot. Tony Battie pushed off to get the rebound. A loose ball foul on Battie. That's his 4th. And the 3rd team foul against the Celtics. Corliss Williamson, the 6th man award winner. And the hero of game 5 will come in for Michael Curry. Robinson. Cliff Robinson from downtown. Now, he didn't shoot well in the Toronto series, around 35, 36%. So when you have Stackhouse and Robinson, two of your big offensive players, not shoot well, that's pretty impressive. You still advance.
Well, the defense and the bench, the Detroit bench all year has really been strong. They lead the NBA in points off the bench. Rodney Rogers, again, another versatile player. A big man, sometimes he plays center, plays 4, can also play the 3 spot.
Yeah, Rogers with the second three-pointer of the game for the Celtics. And they make and take more than anyone. Stackhouse way off. Wallace the offensive rebound. Atkins for 3. And Tony Battie hauls it in. And Walker says final shot as he brings it across the timeline. A lot of similarities with these two teams. Only one victory separated them in terms of the record. And as expected, a tie game here in the opening quarter. Pistons have a foul to give. Let's see if they use it. Pierce lost it. And Williamson has it. That will end the first period. A little bit of a feeling out process for both teams. 6 lead changes. Some strong defense. And it's all tied up after 1.
Be cool.
Killian's Irish red. One look says a lot.
I'm so embarrassed.
A lot can be said about the fact we only use 100% pure beef in our burgers. Usually, a mouthful.
That was easy. It's called the latch system. We're the first to have it. Have a good trip.
What would it be like if Avis didn't try harder?
You get it in yet, Captain? Hope so. Great. I got these other customers who can't figure this thing out. Could you give them a hand? Me and car seats. You know.
If we didn't try harder, we wouldn't be Avis. The latch system, the new federal standard on child safety. Find out more at avis.com.
At Midas, our knowledgeable technicians love cars. It's all we think about. Sad. Midas, we do that.
I wonder if I can stop my break.
Want to grow? The calcium in milk helps.
NBC Monday, Fear Factor's all new.
We're going to be serving spaghetti and meatballs, Fear Factor style.
Oh, my God.
All new Fear Factor, NBC Monday.
Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics all tied up with the Pistons here in Game 1. Pierce and Stackhouse leading. And in a lot of ways, PJ, both these players going through the same kind of transformation now in their careers. Did a lot of scoring early on in their careers, showed the ability to score, but now realize for them to make the playoffs, for them to be on successful teams, they have to do other things. They have to play defense, they have to be unselfish, and become leaders as well.
Absolutely, and you have to credit the organizations. Joe Dumars, specifically with Detroit, he's given Jerry Stackhouse a better supporting cast, so Stack is bought in to Rick Carlisle's philosophy. He's willing to give the ball up. Paul Pierce is happy with the trade. We see Joe D sitting up in his suite. Paul Pierce, since the trade, he and Antoine Walker are delighted with Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk.
Pierce gets inside, and a foul called on Wallace. So some free throws coming up. You know, when you talk about a lot of these young players and the maturity, Isaiah Thomas has said young players define their games by their offensive numbers. It's just the immaturity in terms of knowing the whole team concept, and eventually they understand, you know what, my game's defined by victories and by championships. This is the first free throw for the Celtics. of the game.
Well, victories for most players, once players understand that whatever you do to help your team win, that makes you a better player. The mark of the great players is they help their teammates do more. There's a lot of guys who can put stats up, but they don't do anything for their teammates. Jerry Stackhouse has really helped his teammates this year, as has Paul Pierce.
See, part of the big bench as they try the alley-oop to Wallace. Damon Jones, John Barry in the game. Robinson gets inside. Nice move from Cliff Robinson.
Well, they're missing Željko Rabracha, but John Barry, Damon Jones, and Corliss Williamson have really provided an offensive spark for Detroit all year. That is a mismatch right there.
Pierce on Jones. Pierce goes right at him, gets Williamson up in the air, misses the layup. On the follow, misses that one. Rogers comes up with it, can't connect. Rogers again, goes up strong, misses again. Pierce battles it away and puts it in. Great second, third, and fourth effort from the Celtics.
Mike, our statisticians got to be tired by now, but that's about 10 offensive rebounds already for the Boston Celtics.
And there you see number 9.
I was close.
You're very close. Corliss Williamson puts it in. And watching Pierce on that whole display, he averaged almost 9 rebounds a game against the Sixers in the first round. He's a good rebounding guard.
Well, Pierce can pretty much do anything on the basketball floor.
Wallace trying to help out on Damon Jones. Again, a huge mismatch. But Wallace looking to double. Nice move again for Pierce. But Wallace helps out. Shot clock winding down. Rogers takes it, blocked by Robinson. And a shot clock says 0, so a 24-second violation. Joe Crawford was checking to see whose ball it was. He didn't see. He looked down at Jim Clark, who said, hey, it doesn't matter. Shot clock violation.
Good officiating, some communication, and you're going to see nothing but good officiating in the playoffs. We watched the shot clock right there. Rodney Rogers takes it to the basket, but Cliff Robinson makes the block. Ball doesn't hit the rim. The 24 expires.
Cliff Robinson's second team All-NBA defense this year. Williamson flips it up and in.
Tell you what, Corliss shooting the ball very well, and without his shower cap, Mike, a little bit of a surprise.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, as they throw it down to Pierce, Damon Jones on the foul. Williamson, after one of the games with the Toronto Raptors, decided to chat with the media.
Now, that is good work by our truck.
He's taking some fun-natured ribbing from some of his teammates.
I don't know how good-natured it was. I think it was some serious criticism.
Rogers and Pierce sit down.
I'll tell you, though, if you play the way Corliss Williamson played in that series, maybe the entire team should be wearing shower caps.
If it had an effect, if players really felt it had an effect, they'd all wear them.
No question.
Walker, and a blocking foul this time on Robinson.
Excuse me, Michael, tough call, but for the most part, the officials are letting the players play. Very few free throws, and all the players and both coaches would be happy with that.
That's already the 4th team foul. Now, we haven't even played 2.5 minutes here in this second quarter. Walker going in, Robinson again. Damon Jones the rebound. Jones, another one of those undrafted Pistons who just play with hunger every single game. Foul call on Eric Williams. And the Celtics with their first team foul.
So much for my letting them play theory. Antoine Walker's getting some very good looks, Michael, but he's been unable to finish.
He's 3 of 11 from the field.
Most of the shots have been inside the free throw line. He's shooting about 10, 12-foot shots, just not making them.
Damon Jones. And Williams, the weak side rebound. 2-point Pistons lead, still early here in the second quarter of game 1. Kenny Anderson.
Damon Jones, another undrafted player in the rotation for the Pistons.
Walker spinning. Shot blocked. Robinson got a piece of it. So last touch by the Pistons. Crowd upset, but there was no question one of the Pistons got a piece of the ball. I don't know if another Celtic touched it before it went out. But we'll have timeout. Let's take a peek. There's the hand on the ball. And I don't think Petit touched it. So Celtics will
might have been off Corliss Williamson.
The Spurs, the Lakers, the playoffs continue next on NBC.
2 points is 2 points. Don't be a show. I don't care if you slam dunk. I don't care if you shoot a layup. 2 points is 2 points. All you gotta do is take a short shot, box out, rebound. You ain't got to dunk on everybody. Forget about the theatrics. All you get for that is two. You ain't scored 2 points your whole life. Who you gonna listen to? How about yourself? Obey your thirst. Right. Hey, yo, Kobe, you think you're getting some tickets? Courtside? Yeah.
Come on!
Come on. What's in here?
A lot of cargo room is a good thing. Right?
Unbelievable.
The Accord from Honda.
Who is the man that can jam over any man? Can you dig it? Who's the cat that wants sourdough, bacon, and all that? I'm talking about Shack Pack. The new Shack Pack. Grilled sourdough bacon cheeseburger, crispy fries with free warm cheddar cheese dipping sauce, and a Coca-Cola Classic.
You gotta have a Shack Pack, baby.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by the Honda Accord. It's advanced, it's roomy, it's the Accord. By the flame-broiled Whopper from Burger King, America's favorite burger. At BK, you got it. By Sprite, obey your thirst. By IBM, e-business is the game. Play to win. And by NBA Playoffs 2002. Love it live. 9 seconds to go on the shot clock as Boston will inbound. Just to show you how tough it is to officiate in the NBA, we looked at about 5 different angles on replays on that last shot on whether or not it was actually touched as Eric Williams backs in. Nice move from Eric Williams. And we're still not exactly sure who touched it last.
That was a slow motion replay also, and we couldn't get it right.
Well, a tie game, just over 3 minutes gone by here in the second. Robinson. Williamson against Petit. Good ball movement. Barry for 3. And Kenny Anderson tracks it down. Anderson, the scoop layup. Ball tipped, they're going to wave it off. The ball was on the cylinder when Walker touched it. So offensive interference.
Well, Detroit's happy, I'm sure, with the score, but they've got to start putting some bodies on the Boston forwards because they are all over the offensive boards. I don't know. That was close, Michael. That appeared like it was off the rim and not in the cylinder. Let's take another look.
Still right above, it looked like part of the ring as the lower base, and Robinson comes back. With Robinson getting himself going. He now has 9 points in this first half. 2-point Piston lead. It's been close throughout as each team at one point is at a 3-point advantage.
There was a pin down and a switch, and Clifford Robinson ends up on Antoine Walker. That's a matchup Detroit likes.
Shot clock again, winding down. Eric Williams gets inside, way off the mark, and here comes John Barry. Petit just got a piece of it, knocks it loose.
John might have got it through if he'd thrown a bounce pass right there. Corliss Williamson running the floor.
John Barry and the Piston bench, they call them the alternators as more substitutions. Pearson Rogers will come back in. The Piston bench, the #1 scoring bench in the NBA this season.
And they really needed it in the last series against Toronto because with Stack struggling and Clifford Robinson not shooting a good percentage, players like Damon Jones and especially Corliss Williamson and John Barry stepped up.
Damon Jones, who's played with 6 NBA teams in 4 years, including the Boston Celtics, gets his first bucket. 4-point lead, and that's the largest by either team here in the first half. Here's another quick move and an offensive foul.
Jimmy O'Brien can't believe it. He thought there was maybe going to be a 3-point play going to the basket. Instead, a big foul call against Paul Pierce.
There wasn't a lot of contact, but he used his right hand to clear some space.
There it is, the right arm. That's almost an automatic. I'm not saying I like the call, but it's automatic. Anytime you wrap your arm around the defender, it's an offensive foul in this league.
And to block the defender, all you need is the slightest touch to give you that edge, especially somebody with Pierce's quickness. And with 2 fouls, Paul Pierce will go to the bench. He's got 10 points and 6 rebounds. 4-point Detroit lead. Anderson deflects it out. Still Piston ball with 15 on the shot clock.
Kenny Anderson is bought into the Boston defensive philosophy. He's working more consistently on the defensive end than I think at any time in his career.
Williamson almost gets caught. Manages to hang on to his pivot foot, and Rogers the rebound.
Boston continues to control both boards.
Walter McCarty has John Barry on him. Now, McCarty's not known for his post-up game, but he has a huge height advantage in that matchup.
That's where Walter's more comfortable, out behind the three-point line.
Rogers way short. Wallace again contests the shot. Williamson looking to back in. Barry, a long three. Barry second in the NBA in three-point shooting behind Steve Smith of the Spurs, but he's missed both attempts so far. Wallace the rebound. Outlet pass stolen. Eric Williams. Wallace deflection. Always working on defense, and the crowd appreciative with their cheers for Ben Wallace.
Can't run the other way on an outlet pass until you have the ball, and that's what happened there. Detroit very fortunate. Ben Wallace with the quick hands. Yes, he blocks shots. Yes, he rebounds, but he has the entire defensive package.
That's why he was the defensive player of the year. Rick Carlisle was saying, just can't imagine what this team would be like without him. Walker, spin move, flips it up and draws the foul. Corliss Williamson will pick it up, and Walker will go to the line. Neither team has been to the line much, each with 2 attempts. That's the second foul on Corliss Williamson, and Antoine Walker will go to the line. Walker said he got a call from Bill Russell before Game 5 against the Philadelphia 76ers as he knocks down the first. Where's Walton? Log on to NBA.com to find out where Bill will be on Monday. Follow the Where's Walton NBA Playoffs 2002 Love It Live Tour on NBA.com. Russell told him to just go out and play your game, be aggressive. And Walker says what he loves about Bill Russell is that he's brutally honest. He tells me not what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. And as we just get past the halfway point, second quarter at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Pistons leading by 2.
With a magic third-row seat and a quadruple 5-star safety rating. It's one of the joys of parenthood.
Do you think we have everything?
Yeah, we'll only be gone an hour.
The Odyssey from Honda.
Lottie-dottie, we likes to party. We don't cause trouble. We don't bother nobody. We're
just some men that's on the mic. And when we rock up on the mic, we rock the mic right for all of y'all, keeping y'all in health.
Just to see you smile and enjoy yourself, cause it's cool when you cause a cozy condition that we create, cause that's our mission. So listen to what we say,
cause this type of thing happens every day.
They're all down.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
The whole team down at once?
That's infrastructure.
Well, what do we do?
Just watch.
Back up and recovery!
Wow. Miracle.
No miracle. But close.
Now is the time to get your team together and start practicing. NBA Hoop It Up, the world's most exciting 3-on-3 tournament, is coming your way. Whether you're young or old, a serious competitor, or playing for fun, there's a level for you. So get in on all the action. Log on to NBA.com to find out when NBA Hoop It Up is coming to your town and sign up. NBA Hoop It Up. Basketball without boundaries. Anytime, anyone, anywhere.
Next, the NBA playoffs continue. Tim Duncan's return sparked the Spurs into the conference semifinals. Now they'll face Kobe, Shaq, and the two-time defending NBA champion Lakers. Last year, LA swept San Antonio on their way to the title. Now the Spurs seek revenge. Their showdown starts next on NBC.
Here's one way to defend Paul Pierce. Rig his warm-up so he can't get it off and get in the game. You know you're having a rough day, although he does have 10 points, but he's on the bench with 2 fouls.
Well, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a broken zipper.
Robinson with Rodgers on him, former Phoenix teammates. Cliff Robinson now in double figures with 11.
Cliff Robinson is a long player. It helps him on the defensive end, but it gives him the ability to shoot over a shorter opponent.
Another big trade for Joe Dumars, bringing in Robinson as Rodgers comes short. Curry the rebound. Of course, we mentioned the Grant Hill trade, also the John Barry trade from Sacramento. Not necessarily stars, but guys who really play their roles as well as you possibly can. And Curry just heaves it out of bounds. Rush the pass, turnover. Robinson saying to him, my fault.
I think he's also saying, throw it to me. He threw it to Rick Carlisle. Rick was wide open, and he's a pretty good shooter. But there's to Rick. And Rick's thinking all those years that McHale and Bird never threw him the ball. Finally, he's got to get in Detroit uniform to get a pass.
Carlisle played for the Boston Celtics for 3 years in the mid-70s. Kenny Anderson, pretty move. And a rare, easy trip inside against a normally tough Piston defense.
Damon Jones fell asleep on that play.
Stackhouse. Wallace battling. Ben Wallace able to put it in on a loose ball foul. It's his first points, and he's got a chance for a three-point play.
Well, believe it or not, Michael, that's only the second offensive rebound for the Detroit Pistons, but it's going to turn into a potential three-point play. Ben Wallace, as always, up and on the boards. Control tap and knocks it in, and now we've got an adventure. Great timing. You see the 7 wristbands on Ben's arm.
Wallace, who was cut by the Celtics in the lockout year. They wound up taking Dwayne Shinsis and Eric Riley. Rick Pitino over Ben Wallace when Wallace had not established himself. Was still a very raw talent. And a foul on Atkins on the entry pass to Antoine Walker.
Well, there's the switch again. We saw Clifford Robinson started that possession on Antoine Walker. Anytime there's a dribble switch or a pick and roll, the Pistons switch, so now you end up with Chucky Atkins trying to defend Antoine Walker inside. That's not going to happen.
Walker 8 points in the early going. You know, we mentioned his chat with Bill Russell 33 years ago today. Russell played his last game. They beat the Lakers in Game 7, his final game. He still has a big presence within the Celtics organization as Boston will still have it. Jim O'Brien credits him in helping him with his coaching and talking about always tell the players what they do right. Don't always talk about what they do wrong, the positive influence. And O'Brien says he's really appreciated what Russell has helped him with.
Boston does a good job. Of course, they've got more great players probably than any franchise in the NBA, but they keep those great players around and involved as Antoine Walker finally gets a field goal to go down. You know, we throw the word great around a lot, but Bill Russell is one you always should start as the great Bill Russell, because he's as good as anybody that's ever played this game.
Celtics down 2, just over 4 minutes remaining in the second. Along with P.J. Carlissimo and Lewis Johnson, Mike Breen on hand at the Palace for Game 1. Robinson misfires. Rodgers good boxing out that time, and that's what you have to do with Wallace. You have to put a body on him. Anderson, tough shot. Kenny Anderson aggressive offensively with his second field goal.
Boston is living in the paint, and Rick Carlisle and Kevin O'Neal, who really commandeers this defense, is going to be talking about that at halftime. Too much penetration and too many offensive rebounds from the Boston Celtics.
Stackhouse on a pull-up. And Walter McCarty the rebound.
One and done on the offensive end for Detroit.
Anderson again gets inside. Stackhouse got a piece of it and comes up with a block. Robinson for three.
The difference that time, Michael, that last three-point shot that Clifford Robinson took from the corner wasn't really in the flow. That time, Jerry Stackhouse did a great job getting Clifford Robinson the ball when he was open, right into the shot.
And Jim O'Brien wants to chat with his team. Cliff Robinson with 14 points here in this first half to lead all scorers. Kenny Anderson thought he was fouled on his last miss, chatting with Jim Clark. Detroit by 3 here in the second.
You got next.
All right, Webb.
Discover a sensation as real as the streets. Mountain Dew Code Red.
If you build one of the most dependable automobiles in America, add features like sporty alloy wheels, CD player, a remote entry system, power moonroof, and offer it at a very unexpected price, there's no telling how far people will go to see it. The Accord Special Edition from Honda.
Who is a man that can jam over any man? Can you dig it? Who's the cat that wants sourdough, bacon, and all that? I'm talking about Shack Pack. We can dig it. The new Shack Pack. Grilled sourdough bacon cheeseburger, crispy fries with free warm cheddar cheese dipping sauce, and a Coca-Cola Classic. You gotta have a Shack Pack, baby.
On a team of polished excellence, a quiet leader continues to guide them. Now, set on a familiar course, can the Spurs return to the NBA Finals and reclaim what was once theirs?
They truly believe now.
The Spurs versus the Lakers, next on NBC.
Coming up on the Verizon Wireless at the half, Ahmad will be joined by Tom Tolbert in the New York studios. Have highlights of today's early game as the Nets beat the Hornets in Game 1, plus a preview of the third game of our tripleheader between the Spurs and the Lakers from the Staples Center. All coming up at Verizon Wireless at the half. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the second. Williams at three. Eric Williams from downtown.
You talked about how well Eric Williams shot the ball against the 76ers. That's one of the things the playoffs are all about. You take away the main options and other players have to step up.
Robinson stolen by Williams, and he stepped out of bounds. Rick Carlisle told us yesterday Eric Williams is a very important player we have to watch, and Williams has done it so far. How about this? So far in the playoffs, he's 8 for 10 from three-point range.
Call that unexpected bonus right there. The play he just made on the defensive end is what we're used to seeing for Eric Williams. That's where he makes his living. When he provides that kind of offense, particularly from the perimeter, that's a bonus for Jim O'Brien.
High energy player in his 7th year out of Providence. And right now, They have a problem with the 24-second clock.
When he hit the ball, like 10 on the shot clock.
Eric Williams is after it. He caused this with the deflection. He tries to run it down. Tough call again in slow motion. His foot hit the ground just before he was able to save it.
What they're trying to decide is whether or not that the Celtics had possession, because they had reset the shot clock, but Williams obviously by that replay didn't have possession.
If he had possession, it would have been their ball.
Atkins just flips it up. Walker with a rebound. Not a good shot by Atkins. Anderson penetrates. Nearly lost it. Yes. McCarty touched it last. Good help defense as Wallace and Robinson converged on Kenny Anderson.
That's over penetrates, not penetrates.
Barry hits the three. John Barry from downtown. 3-point Piston lead.
When people talk about Detroit's defense, you said 3-point lead. Detroit 5th in the NBA in 3-point attempts.
Anderson again. Wallace with the steal. The Pistons have more 3-pointers than the Celtics. Robinson hits a three.
You were saying, Mike?
That's their 5th from downtown. And Jim O'Brien wants time. Standing ovation at the Palace.
I taught him how to do that reverse slam dunk.
I taught him the fundamentals.
Boxing out.
Boxing out.
Dipsy doing.
Rebound.
Twist people up.
Bounce pass.
That's me.
I taught him.
I showed him that.
That's me.
Not you, me. That was me. Who you gonna listen to? How about yourself? Obey your thirst. Sprite.
I thought you told him to be a dentist. Man, don't move your head.
Come on. Detroit Pistons love the 3-point shot when it's there. Chucky Atkins pushes it. Clifford Robinson trails and walks right into a three, again in rhythm, just like his previous one when Jerry Stackhouse found him. The Detroit defense keys their break, but they love to step up at the line.
Robinson's high game in the Toronto series was 13. He's got 17 in the first half of game 1. Williams spinning. Does not get the roll, but he keeps it alive, but Barry comes down with it. This is the largest lead of the game. Minute and a half left. And Walter McCarty with the hands. Barry, though, somehow dives to tip it to a teammate. Stackhouse. 8-0 run by the Pistons.
Couple of careless offensive possessions by Kenny Anderson got this crowd into the game, and right now Detroit has been energized.
Stackhouse with a reach-in foul. That'll be his second, and the Pistons in the penalty.
A little too aggressive at the defensive end, but not at the offensive end. Stack spin dribbles, and before Tony Batiste can get to him, pull-up jump shot.
Well, Eric Williams will shoot the 2. Williams 9 points, 4 rebounds, continues his strong play. Celtics now 6 of 7 from the line. Stackhouse with the 2 fouls. Boston not only shot well from the field and from 3-point range, but they also shot extremely well from the free throw line in the first series. 83% against the 76ers. And in playoff games, so many of them that come down to the final seconds, more often than not, free throws make the difference between you advancing and you're done.
All the points come back to you in the playoffs because you're generally involved in last possession games.
Final minute, first half of game 1. Stackhouse gets inside. Jerry Stackhouse with 13.
Big time move, Mike, and a better finish with the left hand.
And their offense certainly re-energizing their defense. Anderson again. Nice move from Anderson. Chucky Atkins having a real tough time guarding Anderson off the dribble.
Kenny Anderson has always had the ability to get to the rim. That goes back to when he was a sophomore in high school at Archbishop Malloy in New York.
Barry, the length of McCarty on him. So Barry's going to try and take him. Knocked away by Eric Williams. And the Pistons turn it over for the 6th time.
That's already led to 8 Boston points. It's been a big factor. They've got a chance to add to that total right now.
Anderson, bad pass. Stackhouse, and a clear path foul is going to be called against Kenny Anderson. Celtics had a foul to give. Maybe that's what Anderson was thinking about, but not in that situation.
No, when you turn the ball over and there's no one, there's the turnover in the front court, and now he has a clear path to the basket. There's nobody in front of him. You take the foul, and it's 1 free throw and the ball out of bounds. Meantime, Jerry Stackhouse breaks down the Celtic defense, and he just comes with the left-hand windmill over Tony Batiste.
Stackhouse misses the free throw. The old clear path rule used to be you just automatically get the 2 free throws, but now it's the 1 and possession of the ball.
Well, it's become a good foul now by Kenny Anderson because didn't lose anything to the free throw, and they've got to inbound the ball.
Foul on Anderson is first. Tony Dell comes in, Batiste will sit. And the Pistons have 2.6 remaining to get a shot off. Atkins looking. Curry, couple of fakes, just gets it off in time, nearly banks it in from a tough angle. And that will end the first half. The Pistons on a 10-3 run in the final 2.5 minutes. They've got a 7-point lead. Detroit shooting 54% from the field in the opening 2 quarters. Cliff Robinson with 17 points to lead all scored. Stackhouse with that dunk had 13. Meanwhile, for the Celtics, 3 players in double figures led by Antoine Walker with 11. Game 1 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference semifinal. The 2nd-seeded Pistons a 7-point lead. Third quarter set to begin at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Game 1 as the Pistons leading the Boston Celtics 50-43 in a game that featured 9 ties and 8 lead changes. It's a series that a lot of people expect to go the 7 games. Teams have a lot of similarities. How about surprises? Anything surprise you in the first half?
Surprising to me that one team would dominate the boards as much. Boston 25-17 on the boards and 10 offensive rebounds. They're also getting to the free throw line better than Detroit. That goes against what happened in the regular season. The real story's right there. Field goal percentage defense from Detroit. They have a couple more threes. That's not a surprise. That happened during the year. Block shots, no surprise, keyed by Ben Wallace, but 10-zip is really a load for Detroit.
Well, when you get your shot blocked 10 times, 38% is going to happen on occasion. Let's go to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. I talked to both of the coaches coming out of the locker room. First to Kevin O'Neill of the Detroit Pistons, the assistant coach, and he said they won't make any major adjustments, but they're happy that they got the Celtics out of their pick and roll. Of course, only 3 3-pointers and 9 attempts. They're happy about that, but now they wait for the onslaught from Paul Pierce. And as for the Celtics, of course, shooting only 33% from the 3-point line. When I talk to their coaches, they say, hey, no philosophical changes here. Look for Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker to keep shooting, and they hope that some of those shots will fall. Mike?
So, again, the 3-point number is just 3 of 9. The key number, if you're Detroit, is the 9 attempts, because when we talked to Rick Carlisle yesterday, he said the number 1 key is limit the 3-point field goal attempts.
Detroit defends the 3-point line by not allowing you to shoot it. It's not their percentage, it's the attempts they control. Celtics led the NBA 23 attempts a game. They averaged 25 attempts against Philadelphia. In the regular season, they only got 18 3-point attempts a game against the Detroit Pistons. They're halfway there today.
Williams against Stackhouse. Eric Williams comes up short, and Stackhouse the rebound. Williams, one of 3 players for the Celtics in double figures. He had 10, as did Pierce, and Walker led them with 11.
The trade-off Detroit is willing to live with is Boston's going to get more good shots inside, but when you have Ben Wallace blocking most of them, it's a good trade-off.
Robinson misses the 3. Eric Williams the rebound, and Wallace had 5 of those 10 blocks in the first half for Detroit. Anderson tied up. Ben Wallace led the league in block shots. Shortest player ever to lead the league in block shots.
They list him, what, at 6'9", Michael? He's not even 6'9". He's not 6'9" with his afro combed out. He's about 6'7" and a half.
Robinson the foul, his second, and the first team foul.
But again, you see Detroit's philosophy on the defensive end. They push out, they get into Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce. They want him to put the ball on the floor to go to the rim.
Curry making Pierce work. And that time successful. Stackhouse with another rebound. Uncle Curry's value, you just see in having a guard, somebody like Pierce, who obviously coming off the Philly series, playing as well as anybody right now. Stackhouse hard to the rim and a foul. Tony Battie. And Stackhouse will shoot two as Battie picks up his second.
Playoff foul, I like that. You don't allow layups in the playoffs. Jerry Stackhouse gets the defender closing on him, so he goes to the rim. Tony Battie and company make sure Stack doesn't get another one of those left-handed dunks.
Stackhouse very proud of the season he's had. Again, scoring less but helping the team win more. And he was saying one of the things he really enjoyed this year was reading in the paper what Pat Riley said about him. He said he's always admired Riley as a coach. And Riley was talking about what a complete player Jerry Stackhouse has become. And he took great pride in that.
Well, coaches sitting on the other bench know, because you're writing on the blackboard before a game, you don't have to worry about him passing the ball to somebody else. Jerry Stackhouse's shot selection this year is much improved, and that's one of the reasons he has a career high in assists.
Anderson misses the open jumper, and Wallace with his 8th rebound.
Less bad shots, more distribution from Stack. And as he said, Mike, Rick Carlisle convinced him. He didn't believe it in the beginning. He's got teammates he can pass the ball to now.
Walker looking. Pierce again. Curry playing him physical. Pierce gets inside. Tough shot from Paul Pierce. You know, we said earlier that there's no way Curry one-on-one can stop him, but you can make him work. I mean, that's even when he scores, it's a difficult shot.
That's all you can do is make him work. But in a strange way, Detroit will trade a 2-point basket. They don't want him making threes.
Walker helping out on the D. Robinson took his eye off it. Walker trying to get it. They do turn it over. Wallace in pursuit, was ready to block, and Atkins commits the foul. Chucky Atkins with his second personal.
Paul Pierce just comes at you. Michael Curry's trying to keep him out, but Pierce is relentless. He's right at the rim. 3-foot shot right there. Paul Pierce will take what you give him. He's a versatile player. There's a lot of jump shooters in this league that aren't good putting the ball on the floor or aren't strong enough to finish inside. Paul Pierce does all of that and is excellent at getting to the free throw line also.
Anderson hits the first free throw. What a finish it was at the Derby yesterday. War Emblems stretch run, the victory for Bob Baffert. And now the Preakness Stakes on May 18th as War Emblem continues his quest to become the first horse to achieve the Triple Crown in almost quarter century. The Visa Triple Crown continuing with the Preakness Stakes coming to NBC in 2 weeks on Saturday, May 18th. 5-point lead.
Excuse me, Michael. Turnovers has been a factor. Early on, Detroit got themselves in trouble with turnovers. Then in the second quarter, Boston turned it over and Detroit took advantage.
Bad pass from Stackhouse, and the Pistons turn it over again.
The odd quarters are not good for Detroit.
Pierce. Wallace the rebound. 9 rebounds and 5 block shots for Ben Wallace. And another turnover. Anderson gets inside, rushed the shot. Tony Battie knocks it, but he stepped on the baseline. So Detroit will get it back. Some sloppy play from the Pistons right now. And this is what they call rebounders row. Every time Ben Wallace gets a rebound, somebody puts one of the big R t-shirts on. And we had that game early this season when he had 28. They had to go into another row. And I'm still shocked they had that many t-shirts. I mean, they thought to bring 28.
They went back to the printer at halftime.
Perhaps as Robinson. Shot clock winding down. Walker played him well. Wallace right there for the follow.
Let's get another t-shirt. Gotta get more ladies in that row too. There's too many guys. Only one lady sitting right in the middle. That ain't right. Sit down.
Easy does it. 10 rebounds for Ben Wallace. And the Pistons back up by 7.
Well, if they'll stop turning the ball over, the Pistons can take control of this game.
Pierce gets inside, stripped by Curry. Atkins releases, 2-on-1 break. Oh, nice pass to Stackhouse. Anderson commits the foul, and Stackhouse will shoot 2.
Kenny Anderson did an excellent job, Michael, in transition that time. We see the shot right there, and here comes Ben up over the top. This is just good defense by Kenny Anderson. He forces Chucky to give it up, and then he goes back. Sometimes it's dangerous. When you throw the ball back to a trailer, you better make sure you made the defender commit to you. Kenny Anderson guessed right.
Stackhouse hits the free throw. We have 2 of the premier free throw shooters in the NBA in terms of attempts. Both Stackhouse and Pierce get to the line as much as anyone in the NBA, as Tony Delk will come in.
2nd and 4th in the league, and again, it's that combination. They shoot the ball well from the perimeter, so you have to play them tough, but they have the ability to put it on the floor and finish inside.
And that's why for Stackhouse, so important for his free throw shooting, as you mentioned earlier, 86% from the line, a career high for him. Lead is back up to 9, equaling the largest of the game.
You see Robinson and Curry. See them pushing out on Walker and Pierce outside the three-point line.
And a foul call on Michael Curry. He doesn't like it. Will voice his objection to Joe Crawford.
That's a good call. He went right on Paul Pierce. It's good. It's hustle, but it's not smart hustle from Michael Curry right there. The ball's loose on the floor. Watch Paul Pierce's leg. Michael Curry just takes him down right there. It's one thing to go for a loose ball. Can't cut the guy's leg off.
First foul on Curry, and for the Pistons, their 3rd team foul.
Rick Carlisle's not going to mind that foul, though, because it's aggressive play on the perimeter against Pierce and Walker.
Curry's really playing Pierce physical away from the ball.
Push out.
That's a long 3. That's not a good shot. It was close, but Curry's making Pierce take shots that he doesn't want to take. Curry gets inside. Atkins for 3. And Pierce the rebound. Tony Delk releasing down the other end. And Delk scores against his former teammate Cliff Robinson.
Well, that was good transition offense by both teams. Detroit moved it and got a good look. Boston, about a 2.5 seconds later, was shooting a layup on the opposite end.
5 minutes have been played here in the 3rd. Pistons by 7. Stackhouse. Robinson had the big first half, launches a 3. Cliff Robinson with 20 points.
The difference in the way these two teams play the pick and roll. Boston traps it, and somebody usually has to rotate to the open screener. Detroit switches it. Excuse me, Mike.
That's his 4th three-pointer. Pierce. Delk turns it over. This quarter has been a little sloppy in terms of passing the ball.
You're being kind.
Stackhouse doubled. Robinson, another 3. And a long rebound to Delk. Robinson didn't look to follow the shot. He may have had an opportunity there.
Offensive rebound's not a priority usually with the Pistons.
Pierce, nice crossover move. And a pretty pass. Wallace goes up and a foul. And Eric Williams will shoot 2. Just past the midway point, 3rd quarter. Pistons with a double-digit lead, largest of the game.
Wow, that is so cool. Can he do it again?
Sure. Go get one, boy.
Okay, so where does he get him? Yeah.
I don't know.
Get down!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Ooh, that's a first.
Make it a Bud Light.
20 years now. Where'd they go? 20 years. I don't know. I sit and I wonder sometimes where they've gone.
Need some help, old man?
My boy. Generation after generation. It's good to have someone you can depend on.
Do I say may I or can I?
May I? And don't forget the please.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Go ahead, sweetie. It's his first time.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?
Hello, sir. May I have a Happy Meal? please?
Ronald thinks you did good.
I think I did well.
Kathy, I can't make it tonight.
Tell her who you work for.
I work for the CIA.
That is so lame.
From the best-selling thriller by Tom Clancy.
A neo-fascist bought an A-bomb on the black market. Cut him off.
Ben Affleck.
I think it might be the Russians.
It wasn't the Russians.
Morgan Freeman.
It adds up. You just don't like what it adds up to.
The bomb is in play.
The Sum of All Fears, directed by Phil Robinson. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 31st.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. By Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by McDonald's, we love to see you smile. Boston Celtics trying to get their first road playoff win of this season's postseason, losing 2 in Philly. But right now down by 10. Eric Williams knocking down the first free throw.
The coaches get sick when you turn the ball over, and both teams, fortunately, it's canceled out, but neither coach can be happy with this. Boston in particular, they've done a great job. They chopped almost 3 turnovers off last season, the lowest they've had. They're number 5 in the NBA, Mike, lowest in the last 28 years for the Celtics.
A big part of what Jim O'Brien was preaching early this season. Atkins knocked away, and there's another turnover. Here comes Walker. Can't finish, and Curry the rebound.
Antoine Walker has had good looks all afternoon. He's frustrated. He's made the tougher shots.
He's 4 of 14 from the field. Cliff Robinson having a huge game. And a 5-second violation. He was below the free throw line with his back to the basket. And that's the rule they put in a couple of years ago when players like Charles Barkley and Mark Jackson used to back in and back in. It's got out that isolation.
You don't see it called very much, but Jimmy Clark was right on at that time.
8-point lead for the Pistons. Pierce has been quiet. Delk. Tony Delk knocks it down.
Tony Delk's always been a good three-point shooter. He's got his Kentucky background with Jim O'Brien and Rick Pitino. Surprisingly, didn't attempt a 3, I don't believe, in the series against Philadelphia.
Didn't score a point. Missed the 2 shots that he took. And getting his first points of the playoffs here this afternoon. Cliff Robinson answers right back. Robinson now at 22. He's 9 of 15 from the field.
Clifford Robinson's been in the playoffs every year of his career, and Boston has got to pay better attention to him. It's no surprise to see him stepping up.
He's 13 for 13 in the playoffs.
Paul Pierce distributes. He finds Tony Delk on the perimeter. Again, Detroit's key is to limit the attempts from the Boston Celtics. Just don't get the attempts against Detroit they get against everybody else. 25 3-point attempts a game against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a very good defensive team. But they've got Derek Coleman and they have Dikembe Mutombo on the floor, so they can't cover the perimeter. Boston only 11 3-point attempts today because Detroit is a smaller, quicker team at the 4 and 5 spot, so they can cover the perimeter more effectively.
And as we said, in that Philadelphia series, 125 in those 5 games. Pierce gets the roll on the second. Walker taking a breather.
Didn't hear any of the critics of Boston's 3-point shooting on Friday night as they were raining down threes in the Fleet Center.
19 of them. Williamson inside. Nice feed from Cliff Robinson.
Clifford Robinson finds Corliss underneath, and the Celtics are a step slow with their rotations and help.
Lead back up to 8. Curry working hard. Williamson trying to help out. Boy, Curry playing excellent defense here on Paul Pierce. Tony Battie. If you're the Pistons, you love that exchange.
That's Michael Curry's defense forces Tony Battie to take a jump shot. Rick Carlisle's delighted with that trade.
3 for Curry. Michael Curry rewarded for his defense. Timeout, Boston.
Michael Curry figured to play more minutes in this series because of his defense. When Selko Rebraca breaks his hand, he's going to get to play even more minutes.
Jim! Hey, Mikey. Here's our TV. 57-inch widescreen. Looks even better than last week.
Can we take it home this time?
Therein lies the problem, Peter. The minute we take it home, I'm going to see it on sale.
You know, with Circuit City's Price Match Plus, you don't have to worry about that.
Huh. Don't worry, take it home. Because if you find a lower price within 30 days of purchase, we'll give you back 110% of the price difference. Circuit City. We're with you.
Does this mean my video game system can come home too?
Tread lightly, son-in-law. There are more traps lying ahead than in the deep woods of Montana. One false step, and she'll have your head mounted on her parlor wall. That's the right idea. Keep light on your feet, and you just might emerge from this encounter in one piece. Good thing there's also a light way to live. The high life.
You noticed? You hear something new at fountains today. People who think young say, Pepsi, please.
The lively crowd today agrees. Those who think young say Pepsi, please. They pick the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi. Pepsi. For those who think young, the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi. For those who think young.
Yesterday at Churchill Downs.
War Emblem is still there. War Emblem, and he's pulling away. He's got another gear. War Emblem coming down to the final 16. Now he's in front by 3, and now he's going to win it. War Emblem has won the Derby.
War Emblem looks to take his next strides toward capturing the Visa Triple Crown. The Preakness in 2 weeks on NBC.
Michael Curry, the co-captain in his 8th year out of Georgia Southern, wasn't drafted back in 1990. Didn't make the NBA until 93. Played in Spain, Germany, Italy, Belgium, France, the USBL, the CBA. He paid his dues. He is a hungry player, and is now, as you mentioned earlier, show you how the respect that he's gained over the years and what he's done with his teammates and opponents. You mentioned earlier, he's the president of the NBA Players Association, but the ultimate journeyman who's now a big-time player for a team in the playoffs.
Great example. There's so many ways you can help your team. Michael Curry usually does it without scoring points. Today, he's doing it on both ends.
Robinson. I think Rogers got a piece of it. Robinson felt he got a piece of his arm. Curry, by the way, mark it down. He will coach someday. Walker for 3. Big bucket from Antoine Walker. Every time it looks like the game might get away from the Celtics a little bit, they go on a mini run.
Oh, Celtics are always in a game. I don't like you doing promos for guys getting into coaching, though, Mike.
Well, he has to start as an assistant first.
I'll go as his assistant.
Stackhouse, long 3. The Pistons getting the bounces.
Detroit with their 8th three-pointer. All year they've done a better job against Boston. They've outshot the Celtics from the three-point line in the regular season.
Stackhouse, though, picks up his 3rd foul. The Pistons on the penalty.
Call that a friendly rim, straight up. You know it's going to drop. Zelko Rebraca and Victor Alexander love it on the bench. Shooter's touch, straight down.
Stackhouse, another strong game. He also has 4 assists and 5 rebounds in addition to the 20 points. Eric Williams, meanwhile, been solid, and it's the first.
Well, there's a little lesson. Stack struggled the last 3 games of that series, but his teammates bailed him out. But the lesson is, and Stack learned it very well this year, he's made his team better. They're playing this time of the year because he has been less selfish. He's been smarter. He's bought in on both ends to Rick Carlisle's philosophy.
9-point Piston lead, 2.5 to play in the 3rd. Game 1 and the best of 7. Game 2 not until Wednesday. Stackhouse doubled. that pass from Robinson.
A little too hard.
That's the 7th turnover for the Pistons here in this quarter.
13 for the game. You cannot afford to turn the ball over against the Boston Celtics. They're too explosive on the offensive end.
Walker. Now Curry on Walker. Good help defense from Williamson, and Stackhouse the rebound.
Excellent help defense. We talked about not playing until Wednesday. The Celtics going right home to Boston tonight. They're flying back right after the game, not going to stay in town.
Williamson. Corliss Williamson now with 8 points.
This is the formula for Detroit. The starters do the dirty work early. Corliss Williamson, John Barry, the bench comes in and cleans it up.
Celtics shooting just 36% from the field. Walker. Joe Crawford obviously feeling a bit of a flop there by Michael Curry. Stackhouse dangerous, puts it in front of Pierce. Good defense from Paul Pierce. And a defensive 3-second, so a technical foul called against Boston.
Stackhouse with the good look inside. Corliss gets it up quickly before the bigger Antoine Walker can pressure the shot. Antoine's pleading his case with Joe Crawford. Michael, you said it looked like a flop. Joe didn't like the contact either way, so he just let the play go.
And that free throw gives the Pistons their largest lead. Kenny Anderson back in. Tony Delk will sit.
Here's the look inside. Antoine goes into him. Maybe a little bit of a flop. Joe Crawford said not enough for an offensive, not enough for a defensive foul.
Ball just slips out of Stackhouse's hands. Walker has Atkins on him, so takes him to the basket, and the foul outside on Atkins. But again, the Pistons have been in the penalty for a while. So Chucky Atkins picks up his 3rd, and Walker will shoot. See Walker and Pierce talking to each other.
Antoine loves the spin. Gets in there. Finally gets a field goal to go, but it's too late.
Not a continuation that time. Atkins fouled him out on the wing. And Walker hits the free throw. One of the keys to the success for the Boston Celtics has been Walker and Pierce's ability to share everything, to share the spotlight, to share the scoring duties, to share the leadership. Although Walker lately has been deferring to Pierce as the main guy, he keeps calling him a two-headed monster. And those two relationship in being able to share the spotlight has been enormous for this team.
Well, we talked about Stack trusting his teammates. There's an awful lot to that. You trust your teammate. You don't want to focus the light upon yourself. Both of these teams are into winning, and the results show.
Robinson hits the 3. Cliff Robinson with 25 and a 13-point lead for the Pistons.
Clifford Robinson's not a small guy. I would think the Celtics had better start identifying him a little sooner on defense.
Rogers can't get it to go. And Rick Carlisle says, let's hold it for the final shot. There's about a 1.5 seconds difference between shot and game clock. A big 3rd quarter for the Pistons.
This game would be over already if Detroit wasn't turning the ball over.
And a foul as Atkins went into the pack. Celtics had a foul to give.
Antoine Walker very kindly continues to try and help the officiating staff, telling them it was before the shot, make them take it out of bounds.
So they will do so. Anderson picks up his 3rd personal. 5.7 remaining for Detroit.
But Michael, it was an underneath out of bounds with 2 seconds to go in Game 5, where Detroit's Corliss Williamson came up with a huge basket.
Stackhouse. Curry. Hits a 3 at the buzzer. Curry, 12 points, and the Pistons, the team knocking down the 3s. Curry with great defense on Pierce as well. And after 3 quarters here in Game 1 at the Palace, the Pistons have opened up a 16-point lead. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
The NBA and WNBA continue to write new chapters to the Read to Achieve story.
Okay, let's read.
With each turn of the page, players and coaches are encouraging families to open a book with their children.
You like this book? All right.
And by donating computers and books to create reading and learning centers, the NBA is helping kids develop a lifelong love of reading.
Read to Achieve!
Be a part of the success and Read to Achieve.
L.A. Law, the movie, next Sunday on NBC.
Hi, everyone. I'm back in town to get you on your feet again.
Get up.
Okay, fellas.
So what do you think? Good offense or good defense? Pick one to experience the Volvo S60 at volvocars.com/questions.
Try the scallopini, Genie. More mozzarella, fella. Pass the Parmigiana, Donna. Everybody eats when they come to our house. Eat some bruschetta, Etta. Enjoy the rigatoni. Brick ovens flaming, Raymond. Everybody eats when they come to our house.
Come eat at our house. R2G's.
Access Hollywood weeknights at 7
on 7 NBC.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Cliff Robinson, who did not shoot the ball well in the Toronto series, nor did Jerry Stackhouse. But boy, they are shooting well in Game 1 of this series. And a 16-point lead for the Pistons. And three-pointers are doing it. 10 of 19 from three-point range. Robinson, make it 11. That's his 6th three-pointer of the game.
Again, the difference in philosophy. Detroit does not want you to shoot the three-point shots, so they're making him put it on the floor. Boston tries to defend it and bring your percentage down.
Walker with the three. McCarty runs down the rebound.
Mike, that's the first offensive rebound in the second half for the Celtics. They do not have a second chance point in the second half.
Robinson the block there.
Great look outside. Clifford Robinson has his feet set as he has all day. Jerry Stackhouse giving it up for his teammate.
Cliff Robinson, he's had his years in the league when he was a big-time scorer. And now not called upon to be that big-time scorer, averaged almost 15 a game during the regular season, but can still certainly explode and have one of those huge games.
Well, he's had a very outstanding career at Portland, at Phoenix, and here. I thought it was really important when he left Portland toward the end. He started out as a role player, a second-round pick, who made his reputation at the defensive end. When he was called on to be the main scorer, that's not a comfortable role for him. When he's your second or third option, he is really comfortable and very dangerous.
17-point lead. Robinson again. Ball tipped by Corliss Williamson. Right now, the Pistons seem to be the team with more energy, with more bounce to their step. Obviously, when you're behind, but that's been the case for a good portion of the game.
Well, I think a little bit of that has to do with you win Game 5. Antoine Walker reacts a little too vehemently for Joe Forte.
After the personal foul, a technical foul on Walker.
Well, it's a little bit or a lot of frustration. Call it what you will. Antoine Walker's upset with the way this game is going. But your point, Mike, is a more important point. The Celtics win Game 5 at home on Friday night. They expected to come in and play better today. They're frustrated. He's behind Clifford Robinson. There's no question about the foul. Antoine would disagree.
Joe Forte right away.
Should the Celtics be more tired? Yes, but sometimes that adrenaline, Tom Tolbert talked about it in the pregame show. Let's talk about Michael Curry, not Tom Tolbert.
Curry now with 16 points. 20-point lead for the Pistons. Anderson gets inside, blocked by Robinson, but a goaltend as he deflected it after it hit the backboard.
Clifford Robinson's up. You said it correctly. Did it hit the board first? Very close. 20,000 officials in the stands trying to help out Jimmy Clark.
By the way, Michael Curry, again, he's out there for his defense. His season high during this past season was just 14. He's got 16 points. Barry out to Williamson. Williamson puts it in. And the Pistons can't miss, shooting 58% from the field.
Good decision by John Barry not to shoot it inside. He finds his alternator's teammate, Corliss Williamson.
Here's nice spin move. But that just cuts it to 18. Still plenty of time remaining, but the Pistons with all the momentum right now. Now, the one thing they can't afford, you lose any bit of your edge, and you could be in trouble again with Boston's three-point ability.
Doesn't matter that Boston comes in here maybe a little bit tired. Couple of three-pointers go down. The energy will come back for the Celtics.
Robinson turnaround. Anderson the rebound. Crowd chanting Walker, Walker to try and get on Antoine Walker. Walker tends to hear quite a bit. Offensive foul on Rodney Rogers on the road because he does tend to sometimes argue with officials too much. He gets involved in that wiggle all the time after some big threes. So he's one of those lightning rods for home fans when he's a visiting player. Right now he's hearing it from the fans here at the Palace.
It's never a good idea, though, for home fans to get on the top players on the other team, because those guys are the guys capable of stepping up and beating you. You want to direct some comments, direct them to a lesser player. Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce are better left alone.
Cliff Robinson sits down with 28 points and gets a nice ovation from the fans. Barry, bad pass. Anderson the steal. Goes right at Damon Jones trying to draw the foul. And Kenny Anderson will get credit. Rogers pulled his hand away just in time. And Rick Carlisle does not want to see him lose that edge, so he calls timeout.
Well, turnovers are the one thing that could kill Detroit. They need to get a shot every possession. Kenny Anderson wants to go coast to coast.
Brought to you by Infinity, makers of innovative high-performance premium vehicles. By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. By Best Buy, for the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy. And by NikeBasketball.com. Still 8.5 remaining. Pistons leading by 16. The big key has been their three-point shooting.
Well, Friday night in Boston, the Celtics made 19 threes. Jerry Stackhouse gets the friendly roll for the Pistons. Clifford Robinson has been on fire all afternoon. We talked about Stack distributing the ball. First, a Michael Curry three on top of his defense. Here's Stack to the rim. He finds Clifford Robinson again. 12 for 22 from the Detroit Pistons. The threes are coming down from everywhere this afternoon for the Pistons, and they've limited Boston to 5 for 13 on three-point shots.
But Rick Carlisle did not like the way the team played last couple of possessions, and with so much time remaining, wants to make sure they continue to play with a type of energy. And a foul call on Antoine Walker. Walker upset. He's already picked up a technical foul. He's hearing it from the fans again. Now Walker with his third personal. Wisely doesn't say anything this time.
Antoine Walker will be back, and he'll be back with the vengeance this series.
Barry looking for Wallace, but Wallace goes away. Barry with a shot clock winding down. Williamson. Barry a long high three. And here come the Celtics the other way.
Well, I'm sure Rick Carlisle would like to use clock, but you want to use clock and get a better opportunity than that.
Walker goes at Williamson. Oh, excellent defense from Williamson at first. Then he bumps him and get called for the foul. Second team foul against the Pistons, and for Williamson his fourth. Stackhouse back in.
Well, defense is not Corliss Williamson's forte, but that was a pretty good effort, that possession, Mike.
The Pistons overall have played a terrific defensive game. Williamson's going to get a breather. Eric Williams comes in for McCarty. Pistons have Stackhouse, Robinson, Wallace, Curry, and Damon Jones in the game. Pierce drives on Curry. Tough shot. And Pierce able to get it in. Curry wisely backed off. So 6-0 run by Boston, and it's a 14-point game.
14 is not a lot of points for the Boston Celtics. Points in the paint. That's an unbelievable number. 36-14 in favor of Boston. Of course, when you're making all your threes, you're not concerned with that number.
Why bother going in the paint? Stackhouse though misses that one. Wallace the rebound. Wallace with his 11th board.
Extra possession, extra time.
Stackhouse. Bad pass from Wallace. Kenny Anderson takes it right to the glass and flips it up and in. And the lead is cut to 12.
That's more than 20 points Boston has already this afternoon off Detroit turnovers.
Kenny Anderson with 14 points. 4 of the 5 starters for the Celtics in double figures.
Paul Pierce, this is a little too easy. As well as Michael Curry's been playing defensively, Paul Pierce gets right to the rim with little resistance.
Remember, Pierce, number 1 in the NBA in fourth quarter points. Damon Jones, that's not a good shot because there was still about 5 left on the shot clock.
More importantly, there's 6.5 left in this game, and Boston is right back in it.
Anderson drives, draws the foul, and one. Just like that, 10-point game. And Anderson with a free throw coming up. And the momentum has shifted.
Well, a couple of three-point shots don't go down for Detroit. Boston continues to live in the paint. Paul Pierce scores inside. Kenny Anderson scores one in transition. This one in the half court. Points in the paint are killing the Pistons.
A 10-0 run from the Boston Celtics. Anderson's high in the Philly series with 12, but he's got 17, and they've cut it to single digits. And they've done it in about 3.5 minutes, this 11-0 run. Atkins back in. Rogers helping out. Shot clock winding down again. Atkins, the runner. Tough shot, won't go. Stackhouse rebound. And Pierce comes away. Stackhouse thought he was fouled.
Plenty of time. Boston needs to make sure they get good shots.
Pierce can't hit. That was not a good shot.
Paul Pierce can get better shots than that.
Just over 5.5 remaining. Fourth quarter of game 1. Pistons have led by as many as 20. But the Celtics right now on an 11-0 run. Chucky Atkins. They're taking quick shots too. Walker for 3. And Walker upset with himself. Had a chance right there to cut it to 6.
Well, some coaches might be upset by that shot. I can assure you Jimmy O'Brien's not. He's used to Antoine Walker doing that. Jimmy O'Brien doesn't mind because he's used to seeing that shot go down.
Stackhouse with the drive. Tough shot from Jerry Stackhouse. And that ends the 11-0 run. Their first points in almost 5 minutes.
Jerry Stackhouse only had 1 basket in game 5, but it was a big one. That one right there, equally as big.
Kenny Anderson inside. Boy, Anderson, nice move. Can't finish. Walker on the tip. Anderson has had his way with Chucky Atkins is a good defender, but he has really had problems with Anderson today.
Anderson puts the ball on the floor and creates so well off the dribble.
Walker trying to poke it away. Cliff Robinson. Wallace tip and won't go. Walker the rebound. 9-point game. 4:20 left. Walker over dribbles and turns it over. Atkins is fouled. A clear path foul.
Joe Crawford is talking to Joe Forte right now.
So that's a mistake right there because it'll be a free throw and possession of the ball. Terry Stackhouse with 23 points. Kenny Anderson trying to fight the Celtic comeback with 4:16 remaining. Fourth quarter at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Pistons still with a 9-point lead.
Coach, you were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bob.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we'll just be keeping the funk alive.
Do that funk.
Just do that funk. So what the?
Do that funk.
Just do that funk.
Just do that funk.
Got to have it. Oh, yeah, play on, player. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We won't ride the boat to tear this mother sucker up.
Oh, in on the courtship, Bobble.
You can either fight the wind, or you can make it your friend. Zero lift aerodynamics. 0.26 drag coefficient. The new G35 from Infinity.
Can I see some ID, please? Yeah, you're 21, just barely. That's yours, I guess.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Marv Albert at Staples Center in Los Angeles as we close in on game time. Tim Duncan of the San Antonio Spurs getting ready for the Lakers. Game one of the best of 7. The Spurs were the NBA's hottest team in the NBA following the All-Star break, but they have vivid memories of their 4-game sweep in the Western Conference Final a year ago. Game one is coming up about a half hour from now. Now let's get back to Mike Breen.
4:16 remaining, fourth quarter in Detroit. 9-point lead for the Pistons. Antoine Walker and the Celtics trying to make a huge comeback. Their largest comeback this season was they were down 14 and came back and won. They were down by as many as 20 earlier in this period.
Well, this series this year has also gone back and forth. Detroit really got hammered both times at the Fleet Center, made a huge comeback in the fourth quarter of one game to make the score respectable. Detroit's first win of the season against Boston, they came from way back.
Atkins hits it on the clear path. Again, the one shot, and then you take it out of bounds. Clear path is when the offensive player is ahead of the pack and there's no one in front, and the defender fouls him from behind, which obviously stops what would be most likely an easy two.
An easy two, and this way you have a chance to get a little bit more. In the first half, Detroit was unable to convert. This time they get the free throw. More importantly now, run some clock and get a good look.
Atkins has 8 assists in the game. Stackhouse on Eric Williams. Robinson. Cliff Robinson puts it in. 30 points for Robinson.
Well, there's the trust we talked about. Stack puts the ball on the floor, draws the help from Antoine Walker, and puts it in Clifford Robinson's hands.
Pierce, a lot of contact as Curry went down. Eric Williams can't hit on the three. Stackhouse rebound, knocked it out of his hands. But Robinson right there.
Detroit's got numbers if they want to look.
Robinson inside. He's upset. He thought he was fouled.
Rick Carlisle saying just get back and play defense.
Walker inside. Wallace backs away. Did not want to commit a foul. Crowd wanted to travel. And it's back to a 10-point game.
4-point play right there. Almost a layup on one end for the Pistons. Leads to an easy look for Boston.
Pistons wisely taking time off the clock. Stackhouse tough shot. And Walker the rebound.
Detroit's running a pick and roll with Ben Wallace because they're putting all the shooters on the other side of the floor.
Kenny Anderson's had a strong offensive game. Rogers for three. Rodney Rogers cuts it to 7 with 2:40 remaining.
Most of the night when there's a pick and roll or a dribble handoff, Detroit switches out. You have to play Rodney Rogers on the perimeter.
Crowd trying to get the Pistons back on track. Alley-oop pass on a bad one. But fortunately for Stackhouse, Atkins has it. Shot clock winding down. Atkins air ball. Pierce the rebound. Here come the Celtics. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Rogers drives this time. Shot won't go. Gets the rebound. Williams passes up the 3. Walker. Pierce for 3. Walker takes it alive. Curry knocks it away. And a jump ball. Great hustle from Michael Curry, who has played a superb game. And they'll jump it up at the Celtics free throw line circle.
Same effort from Antoine Walker. Antoine right to the rim and finishes with the left hand. Kenny Anderson finds Rodney Rogers. Detroit didn't handle that exchange very well. Rodney makes him pay.
1:55 remaining in the fourth. Celtics down 7. Jump ball when we return.
We tell you all the features of the new Infiniti G35. But hey, who has time to watch a 14-minute commercial? The new G35 from Infiniti.
The beauty, the world of Ralph Lauren. Polo.com.
Turn me up. Come feel the joy all around. Each generation has found they got their own kind of sound. So let it out. You got your own kind of groove. Maybe you can't see it's your mood. Gotta take that lead you can't lose. So shout it out. For those who think young.
Sorry, I got that receipt in here somewhere. Driver's license, bus transfer, $1 off fish sticks.
Actually?
Floss. Just in case. Movie stub, a mint.
Actually, we keep everything right here, just in case.
Right. Just in case.
People lose stuff. That's why we can store purchase and warranty information automatically, so you won't have to search anymore. Circuit City, we're with you.
Floss? Who flosses anyway?
I floss.
I floss too.
NBC Tuesday starts with an hour and a half of Frasier at 8/7 Central. For Frasier and Roz, in the next 2 weeks, everything is about to change.
Love is always a risk, but you have to take it.
Then, an all-new Scrubs with guest star Brendan Fraser.
You're a little weird, aren't you? Just a little bit.
8/7 Central, NBC Tuesday.
Just under 2 minutes remaining, fourth quarter of game 1. The Boston Celtics trailed by 20 after the first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter, but they've gone on an 18-5 run. And a very big jump ball right now. Antoine Walker and Michael Curry. Walker with the height advantage. Celtics have been playing catch-up the entire second half.
The home team has not won any of the games between these two teams this year. Both teams 2-0 at home. Neither team has won on the road in the playoffs either.
Walker looking, got the spot between Williams and Pierce, and he gets it Eric Williams. Kenny Anderson. Atkins trying to stay with him. Anderson, a high dribble, gets inside. Walker's tip won't go. Rebound, Wallace knocks it loose out of bounds as he crashes into Jimmy Clark. Clark couldn't see the play. Joe Crawford is coming over to say, do you need help? They haven't signaled whose ball it is yet. And they say it's Detroit ball. Crawford was waiting. Jimmy Clark says, no, I've got the play. Crawford wanted to see. And it's going to be Boston ball because Clark was knocked down. Joe Crawford was unsure if his partner could see who touched it last. Crawford had the play all along. I mean, Clark did.
Jimmy Clark saw it. He's rewiring right now. You see the players going at it again. Ball glances off Ben Wallace. Joey thought that Jimmy Clark, since he got knocked into the seats, didn't see it. Jimmy Clark did.
Pretty good. Clark played basketball at the University of Texas in the mid-'60s. Was a pretty good player, so he's used to the contact. And a costly turnover for the Celtics.
Rodney Rogers had a pretty good look. He thought Antoine Walker was open underneath, but he couldn't reach the pass.
14th turnover, 7-point game, just under a minute and a half to play. Atkins, this time he goes at Anderson. That's only his second field goal, but it's a huge one for the Detroit Pistons.
Reminiscent of Game 5, Chucky Atkins was 1 for 8 before that shot, Michael, but he picked a good time to make a big bucket.
Atkins has 8 assists in the game, has struggled scoring, at times has struggled keeping up with Kenny Anderson, but a huge basket there. And with 1:15 remaining in the fourth, Pistons back up by 9.
One lap in the cube is all it takes. Of course, the critics insisted on a few more. The 340 horsepower Q45 from Infiniti.
I am Teresa Weatherspoon. I'm from a family of nothing but athletic people. Hi, Mom. I want people to feel what I feel. That's why I play with the craziness. You never know what I'm about to do. I make magic every time I touch the ball. Want to know my favorite number? It's 11. My off time, I enjoy bowling. If you ever want to play me, it's over. I've traveled all over the world, but I always leave my heart in New York City. This is who I am. I am Teresa Weatherspoon.
NBC Tonight. Live from New York, all your favorite NBC stars reunite for our 75th anniversary special. The stars of The Cosby Show, Friends, Cheers, L.A. Law, Frasier, Family Ties, Bay Street Blues, Miami Vice, ER, Seinfeld, and many more. The NBC 75th anniversary special, tonight.
Pistons a 9-point lead, 1:15 remaining in the fourth. A costly turnover. At this point, Celtics were only down 7, PJ.
Well, Ben Wallace closes, and the pass is just outside the outstretched arm of Antoine Walker. Rodney Rogers' reaction tells the story.
Their third turnover of the quarter, 14th for the game. And now, with 1:15 remaining, down by 9. Still too early where they have to shoot the threes.
Well, it's not a question of have to with Boston. If the opportunity's there, they're always willing to. The key for the Pistons, they limit the Boston three-point attempts.
Walker, the first one won't go. Tip and picked up by Rogers. Kenny Anderson with Atkins on him. Tough drive. Rebound, Stackhouse. Stackhouse zooms past Williams. Count it, and one. What an explosion for Jerry Stackhouse.
Great decision by Jerry Stackhouse. No need to take time off the clock when you've got a breakaway situation. Stack just puts his head down and goes right to the rack.
This is like shot out of a cannon. Stackhouse now close to a triple-double. 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. And that last three-point play may have done in the Celtics for game 1. 12-point lead, final minute. Talk about a bounce-back game. Stackhouse, after his performance in game 5, his teammates picked up the slack, and they advanced. And boys, he rewarded them there in game 1. Pistons had a foul to give.
They switched again. You had Chucky Atkins trying to defend Antoine Walker down below, so he used the foul.
Rogers just flips it up there. And the Pistons fans are celebrating. Celtics got to within 7.
7 and the ball.
But they have missed their last 6 shots from the field. And the crowd getting on its feet. Palace hasn't been like this since the Bad Boys, but it has been loud throughout the postseason and certainly here today. Robinson. Stackhouse with the rebound. Shot clock's turned off.
Pistons go to a perfect 4-0 with the white uniforms on in the playoffs.
And the Pistons, playing in the second round for the first time in 11 years, will take a 1-0 lead on the Boston Celtics. Some spectacular individual performances. Cliff Robinson had 30. Jerry Stackhouse, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and excellent Piston defense. Let's go over to Lewis Johnson.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, if you go back to game 5 of the last series, you were 1 for 10. We keep bringing that up, don't we? But you dropped your first 2 shots today. Was that the difference in helping you begin an offensive day that was so successful?
I mean, we've been a team all year. We had other guys step up. Even though I only shot 1 for 10 last game, I was still able to make some plays. But tonight I was able to get some shots down, got my confidence up, was able to get out in the open court. Whenever I'm able to get out in the open court, get some layups, then the jump shots seem to go down a little better.
Now let's talk defense. How did you shut down Boston's three-point show?
Well, we basically kind of, switched out on everything. They rely so much on pick and rolls to get their three-point shots. And we got, with Ben and Cliff, we got 2 of the best big man defensive players in the league. So they were able to just step out and play those guys. And Mike Curry did a great job on Pierce, and we made Walker put it down.
All right, thanks so much. Good luck to you in the second game, too.
Thanks, baby.
All right, back over to you, Mike.
Long series expected. Best of 7, but Detroit takes a 1-0 lead. Game 2 coming up on Wednesday. Again, the final score, 96-84. Coming up next, the NBA playoffs continue as the Lakers host the San Antonio Spurs. For PJ Carlissimo, Lewis Johnson, and our entire crew, this is Mike Breen. But first, let's go to Ahmad Rashad and Tom Tolbert back in the studios as you continue to watch the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Rockefeller Center in New York, where tonight NBC will celebrate its 75th anniversary with a 3-hour primetime special beginning at 8 Eastern Time. Back now with Tom Tolbert for some final thoughts on that game. Detroit got out to a good start and just kept on going, didn't it?
Well, they were the ones killing it from behind the three-point arc. They were the ones making the big three-pointers, and they held Boston to only 6 three-pointers in 19 attempts, which is pretty much on par with what they'd been doing throughout the regular season. But Detroit, I mean, they almost kicked it. With 10 minutes left, they went into the turtle shell. I mean, the arms and they like sucked in everything, went into the shell, and it's like, keep going. You keep, as a coach, 10 minutes, you can't run that shot clock down to 4 and then jack up 20-footers. It was funny because at that point of the game, I thought the Celtics' desperation would take over being down 20, and they would be the ones shooting the three-pointers. In turn, they were the ones who were aggressive. They were getting to the hole, and Detroit was standing around taking three-pointers, and that's what allowed Boston to get back in the game.
Jerry Stackhouse is a player that we all knew had superstar potential, but all of a sudden this year under Rick Carlisle, he has developed his game into being a great team player.
Well, he's getting everybody involved, and I think now he realizes he trusts his teammates. I think in the teams before, in the past Piston editions, he felt like he was the only one that could score. Well, now I think he realizes Corliss Williamson can score. He can give it to John Barry. He can score. Clifford Robinson had 30 today, so he came up huge. So I think he understands now, hey, look, if I want to win, I can't be jacking up 25, 30 shots a game. I will get my points, I'll shoot a higher percentage, and I'll let everybody else kind of share in the success.
And they'll win.
And they'll win. That's the bottom line.
Coming up next, it's a Western Conference matchup between the Spurs and the Lakers. LA is coming off of a sweep over Portland, and it was Robert Horry who hit the winning shot in Game 3, adding to his reputation for coming up big in the playoffs.
Some people, they say, have ice in their veins. He just has a knack for making the right play at the right time.
Kobe calls for it. Bryant dishing off. Horry for three. On the money. What a clutch shooter this guy is.
I just float around. You know, guys have a tendency to lead me more than they would leave anybody else because they figure, well, he hasn't made a shot all game, so let's leave Rob. And I've been able to, throughout my career, to knock a shot down at the right time.
I think about, the games I've watched him play for Houston, the games I've been on the court with him and watched him play for us. It always seems that at some point in the game, he'll make a play that's probably bigger than the moment.
He'll kick it to Horry. Horry will take it. The three. Oh, Robert Horry.
I don't know why y'all act all surprised when Robert does this. He does this all the time. It's not like once in a while. It's consistent.
When you're playing with two superstars like that, if you miss the shot, they're going to blame them for not taking the shot. So that's the way I look at it. I just go out, they kick it to me, just shoot it.
First you say, I've seen this before, and then you go, why do they keep leaving him open? He's so unassuming that, he's a quiet assassin.
Horry for three. He did it. You called it.
Straight cold play. Robert Horry won 2 rings with Houston, 2 more with the Lakers, and Magic Johnson called him one of the best playoff performers in NBA history. He can come up with the big shot.
And he's done it time and time again. He did it in '95 with the Houston Rockets, and you see there's one constant there. It's Akeem Olajuwon was the guy that was pitching it out to him there. You see right there Akeem getting it down low, or he's spacing out. Well, that's what he's doing now with the Lakers. It's Shaq getting it down low. He knows his role. He spaces out. He can hit that shot. And against Portland, you saw Kobe drive. He spaces out, and he hits a shot. And he just has great chemistry with those guys. I don't know if he has better chemistry with Kobe and Shaq than he does with Tommy Lee Jones. Did you see Men in Black last night? It was great. I mean, to be able to act like that and be able to play basketball?
That was not. That's
this guy
Robert Horry.
Going on.
Robert Horry.
Oh.
You got him mixed up with Will Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, the Spurs' David Robinson has been testing his back to see if he can play today. He's been out since Game 1 of the Seattle series. If he can't play, the Spurs will use Mark Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Malik Rose to defend Shaq. And I don't know if that's enough. Even with David Robinson back, I don't know if that's enough.
That's a fun guy to come back against, isn't it, with a bad back? You got to go up against Shaq. It's like, it ain't happening. I mean, Shaq is the biggest guy in the game, strongest guy in the game. I'm going to take a wild guess that if he plays Shaq more than 30, 35 minutes in this game, that back's going to hurt once again because you just can't. The guy, David Robinson, 7'1", he's got like a 32-inch waist. He's a pretty thin guy, and to have a guard Shaq, that's rough.
Coming up next, it's Game 1 between the Spurs and the Lakers, and we'll send you out to Los Angeles for the tip-off right after these messages. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
Monday, Fear Factor is all new.
We're going to be serving spaghetti and meatballs, Fear Factor style.
Oh, my God. And the following Monday, the winners return for the Tournament of Champions. With the best of the best, face the worst of the worst. Fear Factor, every NBC Monday.
875 planes. 9,689 seats removed. 331,771 man-hours. One airline. The only airline with more room throughout coach.
Try the scallopini, Genie. More mozzarella, fella. Share the marinara, Sarah. Every Everybody eats when they come to our house. Dig all those mussels, Russell. Eat some bruschetta, Etta. Brick ovens flamin', Raymond. Everybody eats when they come to our house. Come eat at our house. R2G's.
What could be better than saving money on auto service? Having an expert do the job. Quality Care technicians work on Ford cars and trucks day in and day out. Fact is, no one can do it better. And our know-how comes with a great price. Hurry in for Motorcraft Brake Service. Just $89.95 or less. Make the smart choice. Quality Care Auto Service. At your New England Ford dealers.
Access Hollywood weeknights at 7
on 7 NBC.
We welcome you to the Staples Center, downtown Los Angeles, for the finale of our NBA playoff tripleheader. Coming up, it's game one of the best of 7 Western Conference semifinal series, matching the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Bill Walton, Steve Snapper-Jones. First off, there is developing news concerning Shaquille O'Neal, and for more on that, let's go over to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Well, Shaquille O'Neal this morning was doing some household chores. He slipped, he fell, he cut his left wrist very badly in 2 places. He came to the stadium here today, to the arena. It was stitched up. He had 1 suture in one place, 3 in another. He is wearing a left wristband today to conceal the tape and to conceal the stitches, so that the Spurs probably don't even know that this condition exists. I asked him if it is going to affect his play. He said no. He also said that he feels now that he probably makes enough money that from now on he will hire some people around the house to do these type of chores. Marv?
All right, thanks, Jim. Incidentally, Shaquille would not say precisely what that household incident was. Now, Phil, how does this affect the Lakers, a team that comes off the long layoff after the sweep of Portland last week? Does it affect the Lakers?
Absolutely not, Marv, because you don't run on your forearm. Shaq will be fine out there. The biggest problem is that he'll be trying to overcome the embarrassment of coming in with this cut hand here. But with the Lakers playing on top of their game right now, the dynamic duo of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, the passing, the slashing ability, the ability to get up and down the court. Shaquille O'Neal has not even been bothered by the big toe, and Kobe Bryant's finishing ability has spread the floor for everyone, and they're getting nothing but easy shots. Shaquille O'Neal dominant in the Portland series. Kobe Bryant did not shoot very well, but right now, the Los Angeles Lakers, they're not just worried about their opponents, the San Antonio Spurs. They're worried about the historical level. They're battling themselves and their own legacy. That's how well the Lakers are playing at this point.
And, Steve, the Spurs, of course, have vivid memories of what took place a year ago. They were swept in the Western Conference Final by the Lakers. Now they do have 3 new starters in the lineup, but Tim Duncan was there, and he would like to eradicate the memories of a year ago.
There's no question that Tim Duncan was there, and it was a painful 4 games for him, and he is a guy that can make a difference. He puts a lot of pressure on them, but this guy has been the most consistent player in the NBA this season. 70 double-doubles, and this is a guy that raises his level of play with each new challenge. So I think if Duncan plays well, and he has had some great games against Shaq and company, they have a great chance of not only avoiding the sweep, but of upsetting the Lakers. This guy is very good, and you should be looking at his historical place in history, Bill Walton.
Are you talking about one game or the series?
I said upset. That means the whole series.
Taking it to the limit. Once again, David Robinson will sit out because of that back injury. If you guys are through, we'll get to the introduction of the starting lineups. We're told that they're set. Let's go to the public address and Lawrence Tanner.
And now let's meet the starting lineup for the San Antonio Spurs. At 1 forward, number 12, 6th campaign from Cal State Fullerton, Bruce Bowen. The other forward, number 21, 5th year from Wake Forest, Tim Duncan. At 1 guard, number 8, 11th year out of Michigan State, Steve Smith. The other guard, number 9, a rookie from Paris, France, Tony Parker. And starting at center, number 2, 14th year from Seton Hall, Mark Bryant. The head coach is Greg Popovich. 22nd year in Southern California. The franchise with 13 NBA titles, the most wins in NBA history, the defending back-to-back NBA world champions, your Los Angeles Lakers. One forward, number 17, 6'7", 11th year from North Carolina, Rick Fox. The other forward, number 52, 6'9", 6th campaign from Louisville, Samaki Walker. At one guard, number 2, 6'1", 6th season from Arkansas, Little Rock, Derek Fisher. The other guard, number 8, 6'7", 6th year from Lower Merion High School, Kobe Bryant. And at center, number 34, 7'1", 10th year from LSU, Shaquille O'Neal. The head coach of the Lakers, Phil Jackson.